Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, and whatever miscellaneous bollocks tumblers going on about this week. I'm playing a bit more Mass Effect Andromeda on my PS4, and I thought I'd teach you a neat little trick to make yourself borderline invincible. And it all comes down to one very simple item. This. The Scattershot Shotgun. Doesn't look like much, does it? Not much in terms of damage, especially compared to something like the Disciple. Only one shot per clip. Sounds crap, right? Well, there's a reason for that. If you create this yourself in the research menu and use the right augments, it will completely break the game. So what you need is you need the plasma charge system, which will cost you 200 research points. You need the shield oscillator augmentation, which will cost you another 200 research points. I think that's in Milky Way, but don't quote me on that. It's been a while since I've bothered doing this. And you need a calibrated receiver mod. Anything other than that, do what you want. So I'll probably end up putting a decent barrel on it because the heavy melee is not doing me any favours. Now, the reason why this works is very simple. With the shield oscillator, every time you empty your clip, you get 25% of your shields back. If this gun is set up correctly, hence why it's got the calibrated receiver on it, you only have one shot per clip. That is deliberate, because it means that every time you fire, whether you hit something or not, or even if there's anything to hit, it will restore 25% of your shields. And because it's a remnant weapon, it has infinite ammunition. So, what? Oh, there is a way to screw this up, by the way. I better cover that before we go any further. In the skills menu, specifically in combat, there are two upgrades you desperately need to avoid. One is here at rank 5 combat fitness, called heavy lifting, which increases your weapon clip size by 20%. You don't want that. And the other is in the shotguns menu, again rank 5, clip size up 25%. You don't want that either, because then basically the weapon recharges and you'll never actually empty the clip, which means the shield oscillator won't work and it won't regenerate your shields. So yeah, so you're already regenerating your shields with every shot regardless of what you hit, and with the plasma charge system it does insanely huge area of effect damage, which you'll see in a moment. Now if you want to break this even further, there are a couple of things you can do. One is to invest at least 1 point in the biotic charge ability, because every time that's used it restores 50% of your shields. It's also a pretty useful thing to get up close with the shotgun. The second is to get yourself a decent melee weapon. I personally prefer the Asari sword, because while the Krogan hammer I've got is more powerful, the Asari sword gives you a teleport slash which makes you momentarily invincible when you use it. And finally, to complete this game-breaking profile, you need to play in the Vanguard profile for this ability, Siphoning Strike, in which melee attacks will restore your shields. Now, putting all of this together makes you effectively invincible, because every time you fire your gun, regardless of whether you hit anything or not, it will give you 25% of your shields back. If you use a melee attack, you're momentarily invincible, followed by regenerating shields, also with pretty decent damage from the Asari sword, especially when you get it up into decent levels. And if you're really in desperate need of shields, you can use the biotic charge, which again makes you briefly invincible while you're doing the charge itself, and then restores half of your shield gauge. Because you're up close and you've just stuck, if whatever you hit with that charge has survived, you're immediately up in its face with half of its shields, and you can just shoot it in the face for an extra 25% shield back. So that almost restores you to full health. So that's how to completely break the game. Fairly simple. So, just to go over it one last time, you need to have a maximum clip size of 1, otherwise this trick won't work. So don't worry about it. It regenerates ridiculously quickly. You're never going to be stuck reloading for like 10 minutes. So you're fine. And ideally, you should use the Asari sword, in my personal opinion, anyway. So, it's fairly simple to acquire, all things considered. So, you can get this pretty early on. You do need a couple of, again, you do need a couple of the mods to make it work. The hardest thing to acquire is probably a decent calibrated receiver to lower the clip size to 1. That can be a ball ache. Now, the one I've got, the Mark IV, I got from the Nexus. So, if it's not there, then you presumably haven't progressed far enough in the game. Just keep saving your game and resetting. It will refresh the inventory in the shops every time you reload. And it will show up eventually, at which point it might cost you a few credits, but it's definitely worth it to be invincible. So, that's how to break the game. Everything else can be done from your research menu. It's insanely easy to get. The only other problem is this requires vanadium to make, which can be a cockache to get your hands on. Same way you need it for the Asari sword. But if you go to the south of the camp on Eos, once you've established that colony, which again should be your first port of call in the game anyway, once you've gotten that sorted, so go to the south and you'll come across an area, I think it's called Sawtooth Plateau, and there are some mining spots there once you've deployed the forward station, and one of them will drop easily enough vanadium, if you've got it right, to make both the shotgun and the Asari sword. If you need any more vanadium than that, sell all of your junk and you can go and buy some vanadium on Aya. It's quite expensive, but it's totally worth it. So that's the only potential stumbling block here. Now to demonstrate what this gun can do, we're going to go down here and have some fun with these people. See, no need to aim specifically, you just blast anything in the general vicinity with this multi-grenade launcher, effectively. Every time I shoot, I get 25% shields. If I'm ever in trouble, biotic warp, shield slash. You don't really need anything beyond this, but in a moment, once I've dealt with all these creatures, I'll show you a little something else to boost your combat effectiveness. Because if you feel like the shotgun just isn't for you, then my other weapon recommendation of the day is this little beauty, the Ishare sniper rifle.
Hostiles ahead!
Which does this. Oh, stand still, I want to shoot you in the face. Dead. Alright, that wasn't so impressive. Dead. Oh, you're just getting on my nerves, sunshine. Oh, look at that, I've got full shields again. And took basically no... The only reason I took damage there is because I wasn't paying attention to my flank. That's my fault. So, just play with at least one brain cell active and you'll be fine. Even on the higher difficulty, there's very little that can actually touch you once you've got this loadout sorted out. So, you no longer have to worry about ammo because it's a remnant gun. You no longer have to worry about your shields because they regenerate. You don't have to worry about aiming because it's got massive explosive damage. You don't have to worry about dealing any damage because if you're really that desperate to kill something in one shot, you can use the Ishare sniper rifle. I will no longer accept any complaints about this game being too hard. I have just given you the perfect setup to be completely immortal. Ain't all dead. No threat whatsoever. So that's how you break the game. Now, a couple of quick hints for you as well while I'm doing this video. One, I've had a couple of people ask me what the deal is with the PB romance situation. Yes, you can have a fling with her in the airlock. No, it does not lock you off from the rest of the romance path. It will still happen if you pursue it properly. Right. There. Where'd this asshole come from? As you can see, I really don't have anything to worry about here. Except my own incompetence. I can't help you with that. I can't even stop my own stupidity. So yeah, you can still romance PB even if you choose to have the no strings attached scene with her in the airlock. And one final piece of advice before I go. If, like me, you're cursed with particularly moronic friends, like, for example, my flatmate Sophie, who, yeah, I called it.
Andromeda plant sample detected nearby.
Basically, do not let her see you go to the Nexus and sell a lot of the junk item inorganic lubricant, because now, according to her, I'm now role-playing as an intergalactic lube salesman. And the worrying thing is that I got quite rich from selling all that inorganic lubricant I'd found, because I hadn't been back to the Nexus to sell off my junk stuff in a while. So I had about, what, 400 vials of the stuff. So I'm an invincible, shotgun-wielding, intergalactic lube baron. That's how you know your life's gotten weird, where you can actually use that sentence and it makes perfect sense to you. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. How to become an invincible intergalactic lube baron in fairly easy steps. How to make the game stupidly easy, where you no longer need to aim, survive, or anything like that. Just destroy everything in your path. So, there you go. That should make the trophy hunt for you platinum hunters much easier, because now you can go through insanity difficulty with almost no problems at all, because you're invincible. What do you need to care about? Well, that's it from me. I'm going to go and sell more lube and make more stupidly overpowered guns, so until next time, I suppose.